Hello all, welcome to my channel. Today we'll discuss about the exception handling. Okay, we'll discuss about the exception handling in Java. So what is mean by exception handling? The definition of exceptional handling is it is a mechanism to handle runtime errors. Okay, so that normal flow of program can be maintained. So remember, exception nothing but it is an error. Okay, it is a mechanism to handle runtime errors. Next, exception means abnormal condition. Okay, so abnormal condition is called as a exception. Remember, it is a mechanism to handle runtime errors. Okay, so that normal flow of program can be maintained. So exception means abnormal condition. Remember, when there is an exception in the program, when the compilation is going on, so the program will not be executed. Okay, so you need to remove all the exceptions in the program. Now let me show you types of exceptions. So one of the important point in the exception, I am going to show types of exceptions. Okay, very important. Here there are three types of exceptions we have. First one is called as checked exceptions. Okay, first one is called as checked exceptions. Second one is unchecked exceptions. Third one is what we have error. Okay, so first one we have checked, second one unchecked, third one error. Now what is mean by checked exceptions? Remember, checked exceptions are, so these exceptions are doing at compile time. These exceptions will will come at compile time. Okay, so checked exceptions will come at compile time, and unchecked exceptions. So these unchecked exceptions are not in compile time, not in compile time. So not in compile time means it's called as runtime. Okay. Now error exceptions are, these are called as irrecoverable. We cannot recover the irrecoverable. So remember there are three types of exceptions. First one is called as checked exceptions. Second one is unchecked exceptions. And third one is error exceptions. Remember, when you see checked exceptions, these exceptions are checked at compile time. Okay, so when the exceptions are coming in the compile time, this is called as checked exceptions, and unchecked exceptions are, these are not in compile time, which is also called as, this is also in runtime. Okay, now the examples for the checked exception is, first one is in checked exception we have, first one is called as input output exception. Second one, we have SQL exception. Third one, we have interrupt exception. Okay, interrupt exception. So remember, there are three types in checked exceptions. First one is called as IO exception. Second one is called as SQL exception, and third one is called as a interrupt exception. And when you see unchecked, so here the first one is called as array index, out of bounds exception, out of bounds exception. Okay, so second one is we have null pointer exception, and third one we have arithmetic exception. So third one we have arithmetic exception. So first one is a array bounds of exception. Second one is the null pointer exception. Third one is the arithmetic exception. And when you see error, so in error, very, very important in this, the first one is called as out of memory. Second one is called as virtual machine error. Second one is virtual machine error. And third one is assertion. Third one is assertion error. So remember, there are three types of exceptions. First one is called as checked exceptions. Second one is called as unchecked exceptions. And third one is called as error. In checked exception, we have IO exception, SQL exception, interrupt exception. And in unchecked exception, we have array index out of bounds exception. Second one is null pointer exception. Third one is a arithmetic exception. Okay. Now in the error, we have the first one is called as out of memory error, and second one is virtual machine. Third one is the assertion. So here we'll see one by one, but I will give a brief introduction about what is all these. So first one is a input output exception. What is mean by input output exception? When the exception occurred while you are taking input output, this is called as IO exception. IO nothing but input output exception. Second one is a SQL. So SQL is nothing but structured query language. It will be in while we are performing queries. When we insert, when we update, when we delete the table, this exception may come. Okay. Second one is the third one what we have, interrupt exception. So in interrupt exception, when the interrupts coming, so interrupt exception will come into the place. This is called as checked exceptions. There are three types. First one is IO, second one is SQL, third one is a interrupt. So second one what we have, unchecked. So this is called as array index out of bounds exception. So here this belongs to the concept called as arrays. Okay. So when you declare some array sizes, let us say 5. If you want to access the data out of size, suppose you want to access the size of array 10, then you have array index out of bounds exception. Okay. So next one is the null pointer exception. So when this is called as null pointer exception. So when you assign something to the null, then you are going to find the length, then will called as a null pointer exception. So third one what we have, arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception nothing but, so here we are going to have in arithmetic exception, we are going to have here we have divide by error. So this is called as in when you have something like divide by 0. Suppose you want to perform something like 100 by 0. So this will come in the arithmetic exception. The value of this 100 by 0 is infinity. So this is called as arithmetic exception. Now remember, in unchecked we have three types. First one is array index out of bounds. Second one is null pointer. And third one is arithmetic exception. And here in the error, first one is out of memory. Second one is virtual machine. And third one is assertion. Okay. So these all are about the types of exceptions. Let me going to explain with examples program in the Java. Okay. So first one we'll discuss about, this is a input output exception. Okay. So let me write the code now. So first one is in the checked exception we have, the first one is what we have, input output exception. Okay. Now I am going to write the program which will demonstrating on input output exception. So first step we have, this is called as import java dot io dot star class a public static void main. So string arg yes. Okay. So next one, what we have? Try. Next one, file space file is equal to new file text dot text. Next one, reader dot read close. Then I am going to close this one. Then catch. This is a IO exception. IO exception E. Okay. So now I am going to write system dot out dot print ln. Okay. Now I'm going to print the message called as input output exception occurred. Okay. So now e dot get message. E dot get message. Okay. Now I'm going to explain this program. This program is demonstrating about the input output exception. So in the first line, what we have? Import java.io.star. Okay. So in the first line, import java.io.star. I'm going to show input output. That's why here we are taking import java.input output. So here this we are using something called as here read method. Okay, that's why we are using here package called as IO. Remember, the class name is a public static void main. The purpose of the execution, the program execution starts from public static void main string args. Remember, when I say exception, so this is called as input output exception. When you found the keyword called as try in the program as well as catch, you can say this program is called as exception. Okay. So in the try block, we are going to write some code. In the catch block, whatever the error exception in the try block, that will be catched in catch. Now we are going to say file space file is equal to new file. So we are going to create object for file. Okay. So what is the purpose of this file? We are going to open one file. File space file, okay, is equal to new file. So I am opening the file name called as text dot txt. Okay. Now reader dot read. So I am going to reader dot read. So I am going to read now. So in this, I am going to read the file. So whatever the text dot txt, I am going to read now. Now remember, let us say this file is not available in our system. Okay. Then what is going to be happen? It cannot read. Then what is going to be happen? It cannot be read. So this cannot be read. Now exception will occur because of that input file will not be there in the system. Then catch input output exception. So here input output exception E. So this is called as object for input output exception. We are going to print here system.out.println. So here the output of the program is in IO. So whatever the double quotes you have, this will be printed as it is IO exception. IO exception occurred. Okay, occurred. And so it is going to show the file name called as test.txt. And we are going to say e dot get message. So what is the message we are going to get? We are going to get the message called as no such file or directory. Okay, no such file or directory. So this is called as what we have input output exception. Now I hope this is clear for everyone. If at all you have any doubts, you can ask me. So this is called as input output exception. Now let me go to second exception, that is array bounds, array index out of bounds exception. Okay. So let me go to second one. Array index, array index out of bounds, array index out of bounds of exception. Okay. So now directly I am going into the program, array index out of bounds in the next. I am write the class, let us say A I O B O E. So what is this class? Array index out of bounds of exception. Okay. Now I am going to write public static void main. The purpose of public static void main is the program execution will start from the main string arguments. This is the syntax to write the main. Now let me write int array. So try, I'm going to write try block. So in the try block we are going to write int array is equal to 1 3 5 7. Okay, then I am going to print system dot out dot println. Okay, then we are going to print a of 10. Now I am going to write catch. So in the catch we are going to write array index out of bounds exception. Okay, E. So here system dot out dot println we are going to print system dot out dot println of E. Okay, so now I am going to print system dot out dot println E. Close. Now this program will demonstrating about the index out of bounds exception. So that is called as array index out of bounds exception. Let me explain this program now. The name of the class is AIOBOE, public static void. So we forgot here main. Okay, main string args try catch. Remember, when the program is having two keywords try catch, then this program is called as exception. But if you see here, array is equal to 1 3 5 7. So here the values are 1 3 5 7. Okay, so the value of this one is array of 0. The value of this one is array of 1. This is array of 2. Now this is array of 3. But I am going to print array of 10. Now what is the value of this array of 10? We don't know. So this is called as, so this is, let me say 4, so on up to this is 10. But what is the value of array of 10? We don't know. So it is going to catch the error by catch. Array index out of bounds exception. So the name of the exception is array index out of bounds exception E. Okay. So system dot out dot println E. Now we are going to print the value of E. So here output will appeared as java dot lang dot array index out of bounds exception. Now we are going to print that value. This is called as a 10. Okay, so here this is called as what we have, array index out of bounds exception. I hope this is clear for everyone. So just we are having 4 values inside the array, but we are going to print 10th value. So this causes the exception. Now this is all about the array index out of bounds exception. I hope this is clear for everyone. Now let me go to null pointer exception. Okay. So let me explain about now null pointer exception. So here null pointer exception. Null pointer exception. Null pointer exception. Remember, this null pointer exception is what we have unchecked exception. So this is called as unchecked. This is called as unchecked exception. Okay. Now let me explain this. Let me write the program first. Then I will explain. So let me write the class name is null pointer exception. Okay. Then public static void main. So the purpose of public static void main is the execution of the program will be started. Then what we have next? So I am going to write next try. Then I am going to write string space str is equal to null. Okay. Then let me write system dot out dot println as SOP. System dot out dot println. This is a str dot length. Okay. Str dot length. So this is all about the try. Now so next let me close this try now. Okay. Then I am going to write a catch of exception E. Exception E. So let me write system dot out dot println as SOP. Then I'm going to show the output as null pointer exception. Okay. Null pointer exception E dot get message. Now I'm explaining this program what we have null pointer exception. Remember the name of the class is here null pointer exception. Public static void main string arg. So here str is equal to null. I am going to say the value of str is null. So here the value of str is null. Null means nothing. So the value of str is null. And I am going to say system dot out dot println is str dot length. So we are going to find the length of null. So here it is going to show again exception because when the str is equal to null, the length of the str is nothing. Okay. Now here in the try block, we are going to find the error. We found error. This is also called as exception. For this one, we write answer in the catch. Okay. So what is the output of this program? It is going to show the output as it will come like null pointer exception. Okay. Null pointer exception. And we are going to have like null. So we are going to get the message. That message is what we have. That message is null. So we are going to print null pointer exception with null. So this is called as null pointer exception. Simple. We are going to say str is equal to null. We find the value of str length, but it is nothing. So this is called as a error. So this is called as what we have null pointer exception. So finally, let me explain about the arithmetic exception. What we have in the last one, arithmetic exception. Okay. So what is in the arithmetic exception? Divide by 0 is called as arithmetic exception. Let me write program about this one class AE, let me say, open. So public static void main string arg s. Next, try. Okay. Int data is equal to data is equal to 100 by 0. Okay. Close. Let me close this one. Catch arithmetic exception E. So system dot out dot println, let me write as SOP E. Okay. Close. So this program is called as arithmetic exception. Remember, one of the arithmetic exception is divide by 0. Okay. Now you see the name of the class is arithmetic exception, public static void main. Now there are two. First one is called as try. Second one is called as catch. So we'll write some code in try and we'll find some error because the value of 100 by 0 is we cannot define. This is called as something like divide by 0 exception. Okay. Now in the catch, we are going to find arithmetic exception. So we are going to have arithmetic exception E. System dot out dot println will print the value E. Okay. Now, what is the output of this program? This program output is we are going to have something like Java dot lang dot. Now this exception is called as arithmetic exception. Okay. Exception, arithmetic exception. Now this is called as slash. Slash means divide by 0. Divide by 0. I hope these exception concepts were clear, everyone. So if at all you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So this is all about the exceptions in Java. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you one and all.